Hi JoshGen ladies, I'm Nina Anthony. I'm from Durbanville Morning Congregation, and I've been asked to share my testimony or part of my testimony, and that's what I'll be doing today. So a little disclaimer, a little warning: if you ask for more of God, be prepared to get it. And so a little bit of my testimony is in 2016 I was diagnosed with AML, which is acute myeloid leukemia, and it was definitely not part of my plan. I was told that I'd be admitted initially for 30 days in quarantine, where I wouldn't be able to see my children, and it would be restricted to certain visits, and it would be 3 30-day sessions. I was definitely not ready to hear that. I wasn't ready to be told that within a few days I'd need to go in, and I was afraid when I was diagnosed. I don't know anybody who had cancer before, and I thought I was going to die. Subsequently, a few hours after that, the couple who lead our congregation came to pray for me in hospital. I was then released. It was when I was diagnosed, and just an immense amount of peace flooded my heart and my husband Andre's heart, and we were suddenly very excited for what God wanted to do, because surely if God is sovereign, which He is, He's got something great in store, even if it's wrapped up in leukemia. So I was admitted, and it was a wonderful experience in the sense that I was still bubbling with excitement of what God wanted to do in my life, my husband's life, and my family, and the body. I knew He had something great in store, and I was ready to fight the good fight. But some days I would grapple with losing my life, or do I love it so much that I don't want to lose it? Because suddenly I'd be like, sure, Lord, I really want to see my girls grow up. There's so much that I want to do, that I can this be the end? And there's so many prophecies over our lives. We were recently saved, about 3 years saved, and I couldn't come to terms with why, how did this suddenly look like this? And even I like order, I like a bit of control, and I'm a lollipop, if you know all about tall trees, evergreen parenting, and this just didn't fit my box. And it was a time of utmost faith, utmost belief in Jesus and who He says He is. I had to stand on the truth, biblical truth that I had read for years, and now was the time where I had to hold fast. God wasn't clearer than before. I actually, to a degree, believe He was actually quiet. He did assure me that He wouldn't leave or forsake me. I said to Him, that's unfair, because that doesn't tell me if I'm going to die or I'm going to live. But it didn't matter. Living or dying didn't matter. What mattered was God's glory. And if I looked at the notes of the series, the role of the series is to be anchored in truth, to know and to live. And when I read that, I was like, yes, that's what happened in hospital. I had to anchor myself and go, Jesus, I'm going to believe You are who You say You are. And that is exactly what it was. So a year prior to that, we had some friends over, and we started praying a little bit, and I suddenly got a vision, and we were sort of praying about wells and the life of God, and suddenly I saw a very vivid picture of the woman touching the hem of Jesus' coat. And I shared it, but it sort of wasn't going with the flow. So I was like, oh. Anyway, but when I was in hospital, someone gave me this picture. It's probably back to front, but I'm sure you can get the gist of it. And when I saw it and I started reading it, I was reminded of that vision a year prior, more or less a year prior to being diagnosed. And I was like, wow, Lord, are you, like, I don't even know what to say. Like, is my faith going to heal me? I didn't even know. But it was like, I didn't tell anybody. I just kept the picture and I held onto it. And I just believed that maybe my faith would heal me. But it wasn't dependent on being released and being in remission. It was just, I don't even know. It was just, okay, God, again, I'm holding on to you. And when I started this video, I said to you, be careful if you ask God to use you, because he will. And I remember also about a year before that, I would read about Paul's trials and the grace of God he experienced in all his persecution, or even being thrown in jail, or whatever affliction he had to face. And when I read it, I said to God, I can't relate. I'd had a rough life prior to getting saved, but when I read about this, I can see God's grace in my life growing up and young adulthood, but being saved, I hadn't experienced that grace, and I felt so hungry for the things of God. Although we are still in a healthy church and we were involved, very involved, loved the family of JoshGen, I just felt like there was more. And so when this came to pass, I was like, wow, God, this is indeed the more. Nowhere, in no other situation have I learned more about my God. I haven't been in a situation like this where I've had to blindly just trust him. And for people that struggle, if I can call it that, with order and control and liking things a certain way, that's hard. So I chose to cling and not let go. But the anguish of not being in control some days was too much. Some days I would just, like 30 days gets long. Amidst all the wonderful stuff and the praying together and the worshiping together, it was just an amazing time, and amazing Jesus lovers in that hospital. There were days that I was like, I can't do this. But I had to choose to believe God, and I had to choose to go, Nina, you gotta get into the slipstream of what God's doing. And those were the good days. And those were the days that felt short. Those were the days that I could, but the days I couldn't were long, and they were physically painful. So my first 2 sessions of chemotherapy were absolutely amazing, and I was like, me and God, we are rocking this thing. And like I said, I met amazing people in hospital. The church rose up. I mean, I had people wanting to come and sing for me. I had massages. I had seen the body at work like never before, and I was so grateful to be part of this amazing body, because had we not, I actually don't know how our marriage would have turned out, how our kids would have turned out. So the body came together in an incredible way, and we felt so loved. My husband jokes and he says, if you were to write a book, you'd call it Leukemia. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was really, the majority of it was just exhilarating, because I was part of a move of God, and I loved it. My 3rd chemotherapy session was much harder. they prepared me for a bone marrow transplant, whereby they had to wipe my existing bone marrow, and that equals quite high dosages of chemo. I was physically so tired. I couldn't see the end. I'd lost just the and I just lost vision, basically, of what God was doing. But we made it, and on the 6th of June, on my 30th birthday, I was released for good, and that was just so incredible. So ultimately, I want to leave you with something. I do apologize if I was a bit forward, backwards, up and down, but I trust you are getting the flow. So I don't want to just leave you with an encouraging story, but I actually want to leave you with hope. Actually, is he enough? Is he enough without knowing the outcome, not income? Is he enough without knowing the outcome? Are you okay with his timing, not yours? Not this isn't a good time, God, but actually, God, I'm going where you're going, even if that means leukemia, even if that means I don't see my kids for 90 days. For me, made me look more like Jesus, gave me the ability to stand. Like I said, the things he did in that time for us as a family, I can't speak for them, but I can speak for myself. I'm changed. No, I'm not perfect, and I don't have it all together, and that experience didn't change everything about me, but it changed my perception of an almighty God, who, not because I'm now in remission for 4 years, wow, he's great. He was great then, as much as he's great now. He was great through it all. I didn't question him once. I didn't ask him why me and what about the kids and da-da-da. I knew he loved them more than I did. I knew God was doing something, even though I didn't know what. And the ripple effect of that, we're still living in it today. I can still encourage people today. Sometimes I encourage myself, like even talking about the story, like you forget, like actually, God, wow, what did you do? And I'm honest when I say this, but I'll do it again. I'll do it again and again, because what it did in me, it cannot be done in anything else. And I'm not saying you must get leukemia to be a Christian or to experience God. There's many things, but I find they are in the form of trials. And if that is it, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. So I want to leave you with blind hope in Jesus, without knowing the details, but keeping your eyes on things above, looking to Jesus. I really hope you enjoyed my story. There's so much more. So, but I can't go into every detail. So I'd like to encourage you, if you enjoyed this clip, please go to the JoshGen website. There's a folder called Anchored with similar stories and great testimonies that will leave you wanting more. Thank you for listening. Bye.